Hello Aries, Aries Rising and Aries Moon people. This is your weekly astrological and card horoscope for the week starting March 20th, 2017. And just so you guys know, stay tuned. Later on this week I will be putting out a video explaining why on earth do we ask you for your rising sign and why you need to be, checking that out, why that can help out with your horoscope. So I can't promise it won't get too techy, but the more you know. So what is going on with your card? And of course, again, remember, if you want to get a session, you can always go to my website, integrativemysticism.com. So what is going on with your astrology this week? Well, interestingly enough, a lot of the big stuff happens towards the end of the week. We've got a very easy week, basically Monday through Thursday. The sun's moving into your sign, so you're living large and in charge, because with the sun going into your sign, you are drawing in all the attention this week. You are getting all of the, I guess you could say, the favor as well, because the sun makes us very popular. It makes people want to please us. It makes people want to, treat us better in all areas of our life. Family, friends, work, it doesn't matter. And so a lot of the bigger moves, the bigger shifts, again, luckily this week are kind of waiting till after we've had a few days to just enjoy that simplicity. Now that being said, it doesn't mean the end of the week's going to be too bad either. It just means all the bigger shifts are going to be happening then. And it all starts around Thursday, Friday, when we have Mercury form an opposition to Jupiter from your sign, Aries, to your partnership sector. Remember, Jupiter is currently retrograde in your partnership sector as well. And this is not necessarily a bad angle, but it does show up here as sort of a warning about a discussion that needs to happen with a partner. Remember, the 7th house can also be your BFF, your business partner, your roommate, anyone you have those close one-on-one arrangements and relationships with, where an expectation or an ideal is too big to have as soon as we want it. That doesn't mean it can't happen, but whenever we got Mercury opposite Jupiter, Jupiter, even when it's retrograde, wants to have everything big. It wants it now. It needs to get it nailed down now. But Mercury's going to come in and kind of be like, look, is this thing going too fast? Are we shelling out too much money? Is this something where it's just too intense, disproportionate to, where it should be? And this doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. If anything, we're getting things more secure. But be careful, your partner might not understand that right away. Sometimes people don't hear the loving, constructive side of the message before they hear before it might make them feel a little insecure. Don't let anyone feel judged by the fact that this conversation needs to happen, but it is in the best interest of all concerned. After that, Saturday, Sunday, we've got Venus retrograde and the Sun conjunct in the same place. And again, we are kind of dealing with insecurities. We're dealing with people's, where we're kind of facing some certain parts of where a person, or maybe even several people in our life, again, are trying too hard to make themselves feel better than to make the situation better. Okay, and again, this can be a problem, especially when we're dealing with, escapism. Maybe we've got people just, willing to sign on any dotted line, willing to do anything just to kind of get that endorphin rush, sign that check, do or die, that kind of thing. And we're kind of going in and we're really trying to bring in some peace, and this is a time where a lot of people do kind of go into that black and white split extremes. And I've talked about that a lot before, doesn't seem to do any good, but I mean, it's still a message that needs to get out there. And with with the Sun and Venus retrograde together, there's always a message of, when you say all or nothing, the universe goes by path of least resistance, and there is no resistance to nothing. So it's important to pay attention to where, somebody could be setting themselves up in your life to fail with you. And, we want to be able to, we don't want them to do that. They're just doing that because, again, that emotional reaction, that knee-jerk situation is kind of forcing them to do that because they're unconscious about it. We can help them heal. So still, all in all, a good week. For your spiritual advice, we do have the card of the Fairy Godmother. And this card is kind of, it's different than what you'd think. It's basically saying stepping out of the way of somebody who can help you, who's doing something for you, that's doing something that is in the best interest of you, or your business, or your kids, or anything along those lines. Because the fairy godmother does often show up, you know, when we think about the fairy godmother in Cinderella, she didn't sit there and just, like, listen to Cinderella, swear and cry a blue streak and then not do anything. She was there to solve. She was there to intervene. And there is going to be a situation coming up this week where you're kind of, step aside. Somebody may be coming up to help you out. Somebody may be offering you some kind of compromise. Somebody may be trying to give you a shortcut or like sort of a freebie or a one-up sort of thing. And you want to make sure that we're not closing ourselves off to that, because sometimes we might think that we have to close ourselves off, or this is a personal, this is my thing, this is my business, this is my quest, this is my journey. You're going to get companions, and you just got to let them be there. For your Earth sector, when it comes to your work and finances, we do have the Hangman upright. And again, somebody's going to be offering you some kind of compromise, making a sacrifice for you this week. And you may be kind of thinking about, okay, well, do I want this over my head? Do I want to owe this person a favor? Whether it's a work favor, maybe it's an adjustment to a certain term of hire, maybe it's, somebody making a sacrifice in terms of picking up shifts, offering a trade. It's going to be nice to have this person go out of their way. Now, the Hangman upright says it is out of your hands once you give it up to this person, but I feel like this might actually be something that you should do. It's like just step away from the control panel for a second. Somebody who might have an idea that we don't. The Hangman, however, can indicate that if a person is volunteering to sort of take a bullet for you, you should let them. And even if you don't want to owe people favors, you're worried about a guilt trip, it's still important to be able to have that bond. So this week, if somebody's going to go out of their way, and I think they will, for you, maybe you should let them do it. The worst thing you can do is, do the opposite of gratitude and do rejection. For your communications with air, when it comes to your friends, your relatives, and the others in your life, we've got the Moon card reversed. And somebody's going to be revealing a bit of a secret to you this week. A friend or a relative may be coming out with something that you may already know, and it's just time for them to fess up, whether it's good or bad, or you may have had the wrong idea the entire time, and this person's kind of clearing this up. Now, with the Moon card reversed, I'm not really sure if this is necessarily good or bad news. It just means that a secret is being revealed. Plain old neutral gray area here. But with the Moon card reversed, it is important to kind of have this information, because if you feel like this person maybe has been dishonest before, or we just, the situation just seems so unrealistic and so out there that it's not easy to believe, you should. Okay, you can trust this person to be telling you the truth this week. So this friend or this relative or whoever they are kind of coming out with it. And no matter how unbelievable it is, it may actually be the real truth. Okay, so that might be hard to accept because it might be about other people too. For your challenge this week with fire, we do have the Seven of Wands upright. Okay. Now, the Seven of Wands upright is not necessarily a bad challenge. It's just basically saying here, again, using everything at your disposal to keep yourself in a good standing. Whether it's good standing in your reputation, good standing with your finances, good standing with your lover, however it goes. Now, the Seven of Wands upright is also saying, again, use everything at your disposal. That means that if you have people at your disposal, that it's okay to do that. The whole theme of this week is being less individualistic and more mutualistic, in this sense. And, excuse me, frog in the throat. But with the Seven of Wands, it's also saying, don't cower, if there's a situation where you kind of feel like the right decision is the unpopular decision, because sometimes that happens in life. Sometimes, people think, people don't think about principles, they think about affiliation. They don't think about, they think loyalty is about compliance, and loyalty is not about compliance, I would never walk my best friend off a cliff, even though, even if he did threaten to never speak to me again, or it's considered a piece of disloyalty, I would stop somebody from hurting themselves. So this would be a situation where you got to pay attention to where the right thing might not always be popular either. You've got, it's not about standing up for your principles, or anyone else's. It's really about paying attention to what is right versus what is wrong, and that's all. For your emotions with water and your romantic life, we do have the Star card reversed, which is actually a really nice card because it sort of confirms what the astrology was talking about before. We do have an opportunity to take our love life, I guess you could say, to the next level. There even may be a new person in your life, but we can't just hurry it all up right now. okay? And we shouldn't hurry it all up right now. You know, some people think that they're going to feel more secured if they just get that down on paper. Again, we also know that there's things that people can do to get something off paper later, so that's not as secure as people always think. The star card reverse is saying that this week is going to be all about laying the groundwork. And, you know, you may meet somebody and set up a date for later on in the month. You may meet somebody and you may see each other for coffee and have that date now, but you're already planning for, you know, several times. Things are getting off on a really good note, which is going to take it slow. For those of you who are currently coupled, again, there may be something we have to procrastinate a little bit. Not necessarily procrastinate, that's not a good word. Let's just say put off. For the sake of getting something right with our partner, whether, again, it has to do with an expense, a plan that we have for our kids, maybe even a getaway or some kind of romantic opportunity. We may find something better that's worth waiting for, and you and your partner should be okay with waiting for something better because you won't have to be waiting that long. So that is your horoscope. Aries, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And of course, if you'd like to get a session, you can always follow the links below, or go to integrativemysticism.com.